Alex Albon is up there for one of the most sought after drivers on the current grid. He's like an ice cream on a hot day because his race performances are polar opposite to what we saw in his 18 months with Red Bull. Coming out of the summer break, he is in P13 in the drivers' standings on 11 points. That is 11 points more than his teammate and 6 places higher than his teammate Logan Sargent. Williams has made a major step forwards from where we've become accustomed to seeing them finish since the late 2010s, and I think there's one reason for that. James Vowles, the new team principal, also known as man who always stares at camera during interview. The F1 world was fortunate enough to see the Williams flaw because Logan Sargent crashed in FP3 around Spain, and for the rival teams who have a much more sophisticated flaw, it was kind of like their child had come home and given them a drawing, and you have to stick it on the fridge and say nice try. In saying that, Williams has found some success at certain circuits, and Alex Albon in particular has shown Williams where they can be if their car ever becomes up to scratch. This has made him the most in-demand driver on the current grid, and all rival teams are constantly looking at him to see if that he fits in their team. Good day guys, my name is F1 Luke Sam and thank you for clicking on today's video. You may be thinking 11 points doesn't sound like a lot, does it? But for a team like Williams, it's put them into 7th in the constructors standings. That's a lot of moolah. This has helped Alex to be sat in 4th in F1's official power rankings. This ranks a driver's performance based on the machinery at their disposal. The only 3 drivers ahead of him: Max Verstappen, Lewis Hamilton, Fernando Alonso. That's some sweet company. One team has come out last season and said that they see Alex Albon driving for them in the future. That team being Alpine. The French outfit already has a good French lineup, so unless Pierre Gasly is going to make the step up to Red Bull, which begs the question, why not Alex? Or Esteban Ocon is called up to Mercedes, which begs the question, why not Alex? I don't think he's going to be a part of that team. Another team rumoured to have major interest in Alex Albon is Haas. They're currently evaluating who is going to partner Kevin Magnussen in the near future, which also implies that they're looking to move Nico Hülkenberg on. Now, whether that's pushing him towards retirement, or as I mentioned in a previous video, where you can click the card in the top right corner to see my opinion, he may be going to Red Bull. But that also begs the question, why not Alex? But would this be a clever move for Alex? I mean, there's good moves, like subscribing to this channel, and then there's sideways moves, and I feel like moving to Haas would be a sideways move. At the start of the season, they tend to be pretty strong up there in the midfield, and then they just stay stagnant. They don't go up, they don't go down, but because the other teams around them are moving up, they look like they're going down. So again, a sideways step. But now on to my favourite part of making these videos: the hypotheticals. In my opinion, Alex has shown enough talent and enough pace and enough results to warrant a look at a top team. These teams being Red Bull, Ferrari, Aston Martin and Mercedes. Now let's chat about Mercedes. Mercedes and Lewis Hamilton love to play ring-a-ring-a-rosy when it comes to contract negotiations and extensions, and they have the last couple of times. Although nothing's confirmed, many sources have said that Lewis Hamilton has already signed a 2-year contract extension at Mercedes, keeping him there until the end of 2025. Now, Mercedes won't sack off either of their driver to make way for Alex. It wouldn't be viable, and it probably wouldn't be clever either. So if Alex keeps putting in the results and putting in the effort, he may be in the discussion once Lewis retires. Although at that time, he may be put in a pool of names, one including Lando Norris, and I know who I would pick. Aston Martin is a very interesting case because in the very near future we could potentially see 2 free seats at that team. The first one, and the obvious one, Fernando Alonso. He's 43, he's old, man. Although I'd love to see him race forever, and I think he could, it's something that's going to have to stay in our minds because he'll retire for the 2nd time shortly. Both Alex and Fernando's contracts end at the end of 2024, so it lines up perfectly. However, it seems too good to be true. I mean, Alex would fit Aston Martin if you ask me, but Lawrence Stroll has made it so obvious that a part of his Aston Martin team, he wants a world champion. So if Fernando Alonso leaves, he's going to want to replace him with a world champion. Lance Stroll is also an interesting case because he has an unknown contract length at the team because his dad bloody owns it. Now I see Lance staying at the team until the team gets sick of him or he gets bored and wants to move to another category. And from what I'm seeing, the way he's acting, the way he's performing, the way he's speaking to the media, he could potentially be on his way out very soon. I genuinely think Lance Stroll would be good in another category, like the World Endurance Championship, maybe Formula E, but if he was to leave and Alex Albon was to come in and even partner Fernando Alonso for a year, he would learn so much from Fernando and have a mentor on and off the track. Fernando Alonso would treat Alex like he's treated Lance, but arguably probably better. He wouldn't only learn a lot on and off the track from Fernando Alonso, but I think if he was to race in the same machinery, we get a better idea of where exactly he's at. I seriously see this as a potential future team for Alex Albon. Let me know in the comments what you think. Now let's talk about the contract you never turn down, unless you're Daniel Kvyat. Charles Leclerc has a lifetime contract with Ferrari, so unless he decides to do a Kimi Raikkonen, there is no way that anyone's taking his seat from him. Although there are heavy rumours that Carlos Sainz could be leaving Ferrari for the new Audi Sauber partnership. And it's kind of evident that he's slowly losing his patience because he's currently put on bad strategies and bad pit stop calls to the point where he has to be the racer and the strategist in the car. Now Carlos is contracted until the end of 2024 with the Prancing Horse. However, I don't see a reason for Ferrari not to re-sign him. And if he was going to go ahead with the Audi Sauber deal, that isn't until 2026. This move for Carlos becomes even more realistic when you remember that he already has a good working relationship with the CEO of Sauber Motorsport, Andreas Seidel, from their time at McLaren. Now, if Alex is patient enough and waits his turn, he could get the call up in 2026 if Carlos was to move. However, something that is also very exciting is he might partner Carlos Sainz at Audi Sauber in 2026. However, there's so much up in the air with this that no one really knows what's going on. Personally, I would love to see him at Aston Martin because I've got a real soft spot for them, but I'd also like to see him go to Audi Sauber. One place I think I wouldn't want him to return to would be Red Bull. That is unless Max Verstappen moves on or retires, because I don't want Alex partnering Max again just to be destroyed like Max does to every single one of his teammates. Just not here for it again. In saying that, guys, thank you for watching today's video. Let me know in the comments where you think Alex will be racing in 2025 and beyond. Leave a like on today's video if you did enjoy, and subscribe if you are new. I've been F1 Luke Sam, and as always, you guys have been amazing. Stay safe.